Hey guys, hey! Welcome to season 3 of the Inside Job. Now, season 3, as we like to call it, it's the with 'em season. What's in it for me, as in what's in it for you. In this season, we kind of move from the interview format into having more intimate conversations. Every episode, I will have a new co host, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hey guys, hey! Thank you for tuning in and joining the conversation with myself and my lovely co host, Jay Green. Yay! Now, I first discovered Jay from our executive producer. He's been following him on the social media platform, on his social media platform since last year. And he's just like, you gotta check this guy out. I admire his creativity and the fact that he is so resilient in a time where our history and our economy is just at an all-time low. And I did check him out, and he was absolutely right. What he is doing, considering what's going on, we could just kind of mourn, and rightfully so. But he's been so creative in his journey and just being resilient in not having a job during the pandemic. But before we get into all of that, I like to start the show off with just 5 random questions. I call it's a lightning round, and it's just getting to know you in a flash. So are you ready?
Yeah, let's crack on.
Okay. First question. Which show could you binge watch more than once?
Good question. If you asked me that last year, Suits, I don't know if you've ever watched Suits. I love watching Suits with Meghan Markle.
With Meghan, shout out to Meghan.
Yeah, nothing wrong with a bit of Meghan Markle. that show is the one. If you've ever watched it, it's like so gripping. So many twists and turns. I would recommend it, Ayana. Honestly, it's just so much
you know what? Because you said that, I'm gonna look at it. It's on my Netflix. I see it, but I've never watched it. Next question. What would be the worst thing that could happen for you on a first date?
In a scenario or something that's actually happened?
Something that's actually happened.
Okay, so I went on a date. This is embarrassing, but oh well. This is what the show is all about. I went on a date in the middle of London. I reserved this restaurant in Soho. It was a lovely restaurant. Ooh. I waited about an hour. She was an hour late. She turned up, and she wasn't the person she was meant to be. Basically a catfish. And like, we had conversations on the phone and stuff, but I think the rookie mistake I made is we didn't have any video conversations.
Yes, that's a rookie.
But, yeah, that is a definite rookie. So that is something I'm always going to do prior to my future dates and stuff. Being a single guy. But yeah, that's it. That is probably one of the worst dates we've had. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I have to say, like, before I met my husband, like, my friends, they made me. I lived in LA before I moved here. I'm not one for the internet thing, but they're like, you need to try it. And I've never been one to just like knock something, because it's worked for people. And it's the same thing. Well, I wasn't catfish. He just looked nothing like his photo. But what I did was that I made my friend come with me, but she was into Zara.
Oh, how embarrassing.
So I said, you make sure you have your phone on. And I was just like, oh my God, my apartment is flooded. My roommate, and I felt so bad because I don't like to tell the truth. But I was like, you are nothing like what you said in the picture. And I was like, see, I don't want to do this anymore. This is too much, because I got all dolled up and makeup ain't cheap and everything. And then it's not the person. So I understand what you feel like, like what you're in your case, you're paying for the meal. You did a nice restaurant and it's not what you got. Yeah, I think we've all been there to a certain degree. Give me 3 words that you would use to describe yourself.
Headstrong.
Headstrong.
Ambitious. And occasionally pessimistic.
Pessimistic. Why?
I think I've just seen too many negative things happen, like the dates, being rejected from my childhood, obviously growing up from a poor background. There's all these like things that have been brought together. You can't see the positive side, but when something really good happens for you, it's like, I know, it's really unexpected. It gives you that wow factor. Whereas when you're maybe an optimist, you're expecting it, and it doesn't feel as like you get that warm fuzzy feeling like when something good happens.
Okay.
So yeah, but I'm working on myself. I'm always working on myself. So
Yeah, I think, God, we all are working on ourselves. I think that's a part of life. Everyone's a grow in progress. What's your biggest phobia?
It's funny. I don't know about you, but my phobia has changed over the years. I used to be scared of dogs, ducks, you name it. Like when I was a kid, I was a right scaredy cat. But now I've got my own dog, and she's great, and I love ducks and that. I think my biggest fear would probably be a snake.
Oh, yes. Mine is weird. I think for me, I don't know why. Maybe because I almost drowned as a kid. I don't like night water.
Really?
And big
Well, like even if
boats.
it's shallow.
Yeah, like I don't like. I feel like I'm gonna be swept away. And like I said, maybe it's because I almost drowned. I don't know. But I feel you with the animals. It's not until I got married where we have a dog. And I'm just like really, I still say I'm not a dog person, but I'm a Huey person because that's his name. So
Yeah.
I really, the dog and I have a connection. It could be because I wasn't working for a while when I moved here because, you can't work while you're waiting for your visa. And so he and I connected while my husband was at work. So he knows everything Jamaican. He eats jerk chicken, oxtail, curry goat. If it's not seasoned,
Me too.
if it's not seasoned, well, maybe we'll have you over one time for dinner since you're so close. And last question, do you think your zodiac sign is accurate for you?
Yeah, I'm a Capricorn, so we're meant to be fiery and indecisive, and that is probably me in a nutshell. And I heard they're quite stubborn as well. So yeah, I think
Capricorn.
yeah.
When are you born? My mom's a Capricorn.
December the 23rd, 2 days before Christmas Day.
Oh, is she? She's born. Oh yeah. She's January 9th.
Oh yeah. Is that a Sagittarius?
No, she's a Capricorn. So she's January 9th because what are you, the 23rd?
Of December, yeah.
You're the beginning of the Capricorn sign.
Yeah.
Oh, that must suck. Do you only get one present for Christmas or do you still get two?
Sometimes it's a double whammy. Obviously, if I don't know, sometimes I feel like it's a double whammy, but sometimes it feels like it's together because it's so close together. But yeah, obviously I've got some really close family, so they might give me some stuff on my birthday and some on Christmas Day. So it's a good mixture, yeah.
Yeah, I always felt like I'm glad it's not, but it could be you get two presents in one day. So
exactly.
So now that we've gotten to know a little bit about you, we know you're a Capricorn, we know you've been catfished, but the fact that you had the day in Soho, we know you're not cheap. Wait, are you single?
Unfortunately, yeah, I can't seem to find the right person.
Ladies, so if you're listening, he will take you to Soho as long as you look just like you.
Effort. That's all I want is effort. I want effort.
So that means that he's not cheap. So that's a good thing. He's taking you to Soho, and we know that you are somewhat of a pessimist, but you're working on that.
Yeah.
But you're a Capricorn, so I love Capricorns, and my mom's a Capricorn.
Perfect.
So we know that's good. But so now we know a little bit more about you in terms of a lightning round. Why don't you give us a little bit of a background on yourself and just your journey right now?
Okay, where can I start? Oh,
wherever you want to.
So, growing up, come from maybe like a poor to like a working class family. Mm-hmm. So I really had to learn to be independent. With my mum, my dad left me when I was about 8 years old. My name, if anyone finds me on LinkedIn or anything, my original name, which is French, Jourdain, so obviously it as Jay, but I don't sound French, hence why I prefer Jay. It's a lot easier as well when I go on a date, because a lot of people have called it wrong. They've called me Jordanian, Jordan, you name it. But what can I say? Yeah, just I'm growing up. I've learned to be independent. I've learned my mum's been incredibly strong. She's provided for me. You know, she's always been good with her money, and these are like the moral values and rules that I've learned to grow up with. And as I've got older, I've learned, you know, the ways of the world in terms of investing smartly, being independent, cooking, cleaning, washing, all the things that a man isn't really known to do. But I think they're important life skills. To cook is, you know, I think it's an attractive trait to any woman. Don't correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
But
no, you're not wrong.
I've met girls, I kid you not, that I say to them, like, what's like a typical question a day? I'd be like, what would you like to eat? And they're like, oh, occasionally I like to cook beans on toast, or like, you know, fried chips, like from McCain's, or like, I don't get it. But each their own. I think it's like a really good thing to cook. It's a good skill, and like you feel a sense of accomplishment when you've done something like that. So I think it's an invaluable skill. And in a nutshell, growing up, like I've become more sporty, and as I got older, you know, things happened. I picked up some injuries from football to boxing, which I'm heavily involved in. I think that's where my connection with your husband Declan come from. I'm heavily into MMA and boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen all his stuff and he's great. I've done a few boxing matches myself, and I did look after myself for a few years between 2015 to about now, but I'm working on it. And what happened was I tore my bicep, my left bicep. So if you can see, I don't know if you can see that on camera, but there's a massive scar there.
Oh, ladies, take note. He has a scar.
A life scar. Shows character.
Women tend to like that.
I hope so, because I haven't found one yet. But honestly, that when people say, oh, like scars and stuff, like they scar you, like they don't. They really don't. They really define your character, and you can grow back stronger from things like that. Like I got to like the worst place in my life when I was 21 stone, when I was recovering from surgery and stuff, and I just had the resilience to, obviously, I was on 2 crutches when I had my bicep surgery, and I was on crutches. I had like a tendon taken from my hamstring, put into my arm. It was like a 6-hour operation, where it was really intensive. And I was on like crutches for like 4 months, couldn't walk. I'd be going for like walks on crutches, like 2 miles, 3 miles a day, and people will think I'm crazy. But you just have to, it just shows that you have to put the work in every day if you want results. And I'm very old school, and I've learned to grow up with that. And that's probably how it's transferred into my need to stand out in employment. So, you know, I make videos, as you know, make content. I'm trying to stand out, and I think that's really important to anyone listening to this, in search of employment or trying to change their life or turn their life around. Is they need to put themselves out there and just be confident doing so.
Absolutely. Now, I see 24 in the background. Is that your number?
Yeah, I've got this in Barcelona. It's actually a Barcelona shirt, and I consider it my lucky shirt. I don't know why, but good things happen when I put the shirt on in Barcelona. I'll hang it up. 24 is based on my age at the time, but that was 3 years. I'm 27 now, and it just brings back a lot of good memories. So I like to hang up nostalgia like that in my wall.
Okay. Now, the way how I discovered you was through your employment journey, and I thought it was rather unique and interesting because you, like I said, you were very creative. So for those of us that are not familiar, kind of walk us through what was the motivating factor behind just starting that. I don't know if it was June of last year you started, you can correct me if I'm wrong, with this journey. What led to that, and just what is it? What's the purpose?
For me, when the pandemic hit in March 2020, there was a real sense of urgency. I just thought, shit, you know, like I've really got something's going to happen. Like people are going to start looking for jobs. People could be made redundant. So I had that in my mind already before it even happened. So I had to take steps to stand out. So straight away, when I was on furlough in March 2020, I'd literally be making videos of myself on LinkedIn. I'd recommend people to get LinkedIn if they don't have it as a networking tool for jobs. Just make videos, just be confident, just take that one chance, just to be yourself and show your personality and showcase why you deserve that job. Because everyone has quality, it just needs to be put out there. a lot of people that don't have a lot of faith in themselves, and if you don't have a lot of faith in yourself, then get people to tell you that you've got good things going for you. So that's what I do. You know, I like to lift people up and stuff, and as much as I say I'm a pessimist, my job, or the person I am, is to really just put people in a better position, or just to make people feel happy, because that makes me feel happy, you know, just to see someone feel good about themselves. I suppose that's where the mental health comes in, but you mentioned earlier. And then constantly going on for that, I had so many interviews. It was incredible that I was like standing out, and there was like 500, 1,000 plus candidates going for one role. But the problem is I was always getting rejected at the final hurdle. You know, I'd always get people that weren't getting back to me, and this was incredibly frustrating. And you do take it personally. People that say they don't take it personally is nonsense, because.
So, can I ask you a question? Why do you think it was that they weren't getting back to you? Once you do sorry. No, so once you've done the interview, or the second or the third interview, do you just wait? What is your process after that?
Yeah, so best thing to do is not to try and be direct with them, because that's quite a risky thing to do. I would always try and question maybe HR, or, you know, maybe some of their team, or, you know, just to like ask, you know, what the hiring process is like, and just get a better gauge of what is going on with them, because sometimes it might be a financial issue, or they might have a hiring freeze. Things happen, and I understand that we're in a pandemic, so you just got to be patient, and fate will take its course, and eventually you will get something. So it's just a matter of just probing the right people.
Okay, so you were saying that people weren't getting back to you after interviewing with people. Were these people, was it before the pandemic, and so they were on a hiring freeze, or is it people that were hiring during the pandemic? I'm just trying to figure out if these were interviews during or before the pandemic.
Yeah, literally hiring during the pandemic.
Oh, okay.
So I was on furlough from March to June, and obviously, you know, I was getting paid up to then, but I was still looking occasionally, because I was expecting the worst to happen, like being made redundant, which I was, unfortunately, just because of the COVID. And so the busy period was from July to like November, where I was constantly applying every single day for jobs. I had so much free time on my hands, and just trying to bet yourself every day with your mental health, obviously thinking sharper in interviews, and taking notes and feedback from where you went wrong and where you failed in previous interviews, and just take it on board positively.
Yeah. Do you, one of the things that I've done, because like yourself, I had just started a job, because I was only able to work. So we got married 2019, the end of September, did a honeymoon for a couple of weeks, came back October. So then I started working in January. So I started looking in January. I was like, I need to get a job in January before the pandemic. I just started the job by March, obviously. I was like, go. So I, like yourself, doing the same thing, decided, okay, I need to start looking, but I didn't start looking until I think June or May, obviously, because you were in a lockdown. So when you do the interviews, do you send like a follow-up email or something like that? Just a recap of highlighting your strengths from the interview?
It's a really good question. It's something that a lot of people have asked me. I have experimented way before the pandemic, and for me personally, it didn't make much of a difference, because really they probably already know who they're going to hire based off what they've seen in the interview, from your tone, what you've said, the questions you've asked, and the knowledge of the company. So I don't think you can really change anything. Maybe in hindsight, it could damage you because you're probing too much and you're trying to be too salesy. So I think it's just good to let nature take its course, and you know, you can try, but for me, I like to throw the kitchen sink during the interview process rather than leaving it too late, asking afterwards. But obviously that's works differently to other people.
When I first started out, not this job, but the job that I had before, one of their concerns was just that they don't feel I have enough experience in this market, because America and here is two different markets. And so because I did the follow-up email, thank you email, I was able to pinpoint that I've been in the country for almost over a year, and I also worked as a freelance marketing exec. And I just told them the people that I worked with. So the whole point of a follow-up email is just to highlight your strengths. And if there's one area that you feel that you didn't do as great as a job, because sometimes you think after, why didn't I say that? It just gives you the opportunity to do it, right?
It's a good point that you made, actually. Sorry to interrupt. It's a good point you made. I did actually make like follow-ups. If I was doing like anything longer than a 2-stage interview, I would definitely follow up, because there's so much going on throughout that process. You're speaking to different people. You need to sell yourself to all them people. I feel like personally, if you're just doing a 1-stage interview, maybe it's a lot more of a simpler hiring process, and they know what they want. So I think, yeah, like you said, it could be subjective, but you made some really good point. Look at the position you're in now. So it's obviously worked.
Yeah. And then, like, if it's like the first stage, you don't put a lot of thought into it. Like, I have something that I would send, and it's just 1, 2, 3 bullet points. And then you move on to the next person. And then you might put a little bit more, but it's really, if you have it, it's not going to take much time. If you have like your bullet points, and that you just change it based on the environment. I just think it's great because a lot of people don't do that anymore. And so it makes you stand out. So we go off track with that.
I was very, that's old school though. I'll tell you how old school I used to be. I used to send, to try and stand out, I used to send letters to employers by hand. I used to handwrite letters, send it by first class, and I'd send, like, if it was like for the season, like Easter, I'd send an Easter egg with it as well.
Oh, I got a story for you. You just reminded me.
I want to listen to this.
So before I got into sales, I was going to be a lawyer, right? So I did all my undergrad. I got my, in the States, I have my bachelor's in legal studies. And then I decided, no, I want to go into fashion and advertising and marketing. So all those magazines, Vogue and Elle and all of them, like you're saying, I looked at who the editor was and the assistant editor, and I wrote each and every one of them a letter. I'm telling you, that's how I ended up. My first job as a sales assistant, I worked for Fairchild. Well, now it's part of Condé Nast.
Okay.
And that's how I got it. And what I would do with the receptionist is that I would just keep calling her anything. And then she called me and she was like, there's something coming up. I didn't get the first position. She's like, this one's better. And I ended up getting a position that paid more because of her. And I made friends with the gatekeeper. I think that's also important to have a gatekeeper, and they look out for you. And she ended up being the manager for all of that whole HR department after a while. So it's like, you just never know. But when you said that, you just reminded me, oh my God, I remember I did it. I sent out like 20 letters trying to get in, and it paid off,
Persistence is definitely key. You've shown that in abundance.
Yeah, and I think that's why I so connected with you when I saw that. I was like, oh, I love that. He's not just sitting and complaining and just saying no one will hire me. He's actually doing something. And I, like yourself, I'm old school, and I believe that for like yourself, my mom, I was raised predominantly by my mom, and of course a strong network of my aunties and such in Jamaica, strong woman. And my dad, I haven't seen him like yourself since, I think last time I saw him was 8 or 9 or something like that. And so my mom just always instilled in me, like, anything you want, if you work for it and it's God's will, you'll get it. But you have to work for it. You pray for what you want and you work for what you need. And so that was always my motto. If I work hard enough, then eventually I'll get it. It's just the waiting part that's just like,
Yeah, it's like you don't have a date on it. It's like, oh God, when's it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen? You ask all these questions and you're like causing like a brain freeze, but it will happen. You just have to be
Yeah.
positive.
So what are some things that you're doing? Because we're speaking about you being creative, that's
Yeah.
getting you out there in front of like the right people.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, I started off making videos. So as soon as I was made redundant, I put myself out there, said, "Hi guys, my name is blah blah blah. I've been made redundant. 31st of July. I'm looking for this. These are my skills. This is what I'll bring to the table, and have the backing that you're going to hire someone incredibly enthusiastic, driven, and obviously willing to bring fresh ideas and outside the box thinking. And you've got to really deliver that on with confidence. Is obviously if you can't convince the other person, the employer, then you've got no chance. So started off making them videos. A lot of people have seen them. Their connections have seen it. I'll start adding them, building relationships with them, and then it follows from there like a domino effect. Like you just constantly just meeting new people, talking to new people, and eventually you just get different opportunities. And then I was very lucky enough to be part of a sales assessment day with this recruitment company, and I got involved with that, and I'll become a top 3 candidate out of 60 people because I really wanted to push the boat out and put myself out there. And I believe that goes for anything in life, whether it's dating. You have to be confident. You have to put yourself out there, make effort, stand out. You dress right. Give the good impression. And just be that person that wants you. It's all about wanting that person. I think, if you want someone badly enough, you will get that opportunity, and it goes without saying, doesn't it?
So we were talking about your creativity and what's the different things that you do. What's the most creative thing that you've ever done to get an employer's attention or to get that interview?
Yeah, I think the Easter egg one was pretty good. I sent like a massive Easter egg, like from Lindor, wherever it was. It was handmade.
Wow.
It had the company's name on it because I really wanted it to go to the right person. I basically put their name on the Easter egg. So it had to go to that person. No one else would be eating that Easter egg. Do you know what I mean? That is the message right there. And it went to that person. They sent me a message, and they was really impressed with the way I stood out. It was a bit like a marketing thing to be creative. Got an interview, but unfortunately, I didn't get the role. But I got really good feedback, and they really appreciated what I could bring to them. And the advice not only made me feel good, but it made me a better person to go forward and keep being creative and standing out. And I think that's where all these videos come from.
Absolutely. Easter egg. That is creative. I think the closest I got to that was Sprinkles cupcakes in the States. We have these little cupcakes. And I did that for a job for the final interview.
Yeah.
I brought him cupcakes, and thank God he was greedy. He brought it home to his wife, and she was like, "You need to hire her." I was like, "Thank God for her with the cupcakes." So that's very, very, very creative. Now, are you currently employed, or are you still looking?
I'm still looking, but potentially, as we speak, I have some very exciting news. So I hope to be announcing that very soon. But I won't give too much away. But obviously, I'll tell you off the record, and I'm incredibly excited to see what happens with this. And persistence has really paid off, and we'll see what happens because it was a really tough decision, without trying to give too much away. And it got to a point where I was in this position where I've never been in before, and it's like you feel wanted. And now I'll get to this month. It's just been like a light bulb. I'm going to Scotland on Sunday to be part of a Guinness World Record attempt for someone. I'm going to be on like BBC News and media coverage, and then like to be a part of that team, and then going potentially for other offers for employment. It's just like you just feel wanted, and it's such a nice feeling. In contrast to last year, where I was like so down. I just felt like I had no chance, but I was constantly putting myself out there and being resilient to get what I wanted and to showcase that I deserve to get it. And eventually it all pays off.
Now, the other thing that we spoke about was mental health, and you talked about being down last year. I think mentally, job or no job, everyone was affected.
And I did see in a few of your videos, you do speak about the importance and, just being mentally whole. Can you just tell me a little bit more about that and where your whole campaign for mental health, where did it stem from?
It's so important to work on your mental health, especially during this pandemic. For everything, for life, it's just a survival thing. If your mental health isn't there, then you basically just, well, your chances of surviving are non-existent. You have to be strong. You have to be strong mentally and physically. You have to work on that every single day, whether that's something small as going for a walk, or even going to a gym, or even just pushing yourself in something incredible. It doesn't matter. You have to be consistent, and it will pay off. Just in a nutshell, to answer your question, I think it stems from, like I said, years of rejection I think it stemmed from obviously my childhood, with my dad. He left. I couldn't really understand at a young age, but as you get older, I learned to obviously understand the reasons. Obviously, parents just don't work out, and that's fine. It is what it is. I got bullied at school when I was a bit younger, because I was a bit overweight, and I was a bit of a geek at school. So I'd be the believe it or not, I used to be the guy that used to put his hand up in class for everything and get all the certificates and get all the A pluses and stuff. And I was really academic. But as I got older, I got really a bit more cheeky, a bit more rebellious, and I think I just got in with the wrong crowds of friends. And you regret not going to uni, and you regret not achieving what you want to achieve. But things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
And as I got older, you just learn to obviously deal with it, and you get stronger. My nan passed away from cancer. I was really close to her. She was a rock to me. I can't say how close I was to her. I was around hers every single day, stuff like that. We only lived up the road 50 yards away from each other. So that takes its toll. And I feel all these little things stemmed, but you try and turn them negatives into a positive, like you said. So, for example, get bullied at school, I turned it around and I started going to a gym. So, I wasn't the best in the gym.
I saw from the battle scar that you went to the gym. I'm sure the ladies can see now that you go to the gym.
I'll try.
Look at this scar right here, and showing the scar.
Flattery will get you everywhere. Flattery will get you everywhere. Yeah. So like I said, I wasn't the best person going to the gym, as you can imagine. I was a chubby guy on the machines trying to work out. I had no clue what I was doing. But you just you pick up the skill of going to the gym, learning how to use certain things, and you build your confidence indirectly. You're looking better. Women see you looking better. You get confidence from that, and then your posture's better. You're more upright. You're taller. You're not slouched. Probably don't have as much of a pot belly. Do you know what I mean? You just look better, and all these things contribute to your mental health. I think going on more broadly from that, I really wanted to help people. So during the pandemic, I started a mental health group, which is incredibly small, called Green Minds, which is a Facebook group that, I make videos on a weekly basis and give tips and positive affirmations to people. It could be anything from saving money all the way through to changing the way you think. So being, for example, a pessimistic person, how can you turn that into being more optimistic? Or, stress, and how can you see stress as a positive? And all these different subjects that I thought of, and given my personal experiences to really help people. And I think I've helped about 300 people.
Wow.
And I get messages constantly saying thank you for obviously helping me out, and that really makes me feel gives me that warm fuzzy feeling. And it really pushes me to keep making them videos, because sometimes I get videos, I put videos out there and I don't get any sort of likes or comments, or any sort of I don't know what people are thinking of them, because there's no interaction. But I do it in the sense that I'm helping the greater good. And like you see, God and stuff like that, there's, if I can change one person, turn their life around, then that makes me feel good. It doesn't matter if it's 300 people or one person. It gives me a sense of joy, and I will always continue to do that. I've got bigger plans for the future and stuff, but maybe we can talk about that another time.
No, we can get that in. But I'm moved by what you said, and I agree. Because the reason we started the Inside Job during the pandemic as well. And my goal really was coming from America to have a better understanding of the workplace culture here and how it works. So like the very first person I interviewed for a job that I did not get, but I I felt that it was more important to kind of understand the culture. And I was overqualified for the job as well. So I was like, well, why didn't I get it? But I realized to me it was more important to understand what the culture is. And that's why I started. And it doesn't matter if I have a million people liking it, because people sometimes can just randomly like stuff and don't listen. I'd rather have one person whose life is changed or touched, or I'm able to help one person than have a million people like it and it just like falls on deaf ears and the message isn't heard. And so
Absolutely.
even if you don't have a million people liking something, all it takes is for one person, for you to reach that one person, for you to feel fulfilled and to hit your target,
Yeah.
for lack of a better word. And that's more important. That's more important than likes, because people, half of them that like, they don't even listen. They just like because they like your face or what you're wearing, as opposed to what you're actually saying. So I think that's great. When I saw that, I was also quite moved by the fact that you were open enough to talk about mental health, because usually you find a lot of women, female, talking about that, and the fact that you are able to be as transparent as you are, and even on the show, I'm sure that's helping someone, male or female, with that. And a lot of people are struggling. I know a lot of people with finding another job. A lot of people that have been in their job for over a decade and could not have anticipated something like this happening. And they're trying to find their way back. And like, some 1 and 2 people I've dealt with, they're like, I don't even understand how this Teams business work. I have to do a Teams meeting. How do I do this?
Yeah.
Work. And I think with just what you're doing, it just encourages people, and they're like, okay, you know what, let's see what this guy's doing. If he can do it, I can do it too. Because
Absolutely.
talking to quite a few people, they're over 40, 50, and they have to start over, and just all of this technology stuff, Team and Zoom, and they're like, I don't know, I don't know how to work that stuff. To be fair, it took me a while too. I was like,
Yeah.
how does this work? What am I supposed to do here? I think the most popular word of last year was, sentence, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Your background, change your background.
Yeah, you're on mute. Don't stand up. But as this is all about your employment journey and mental health, if I am an employer and I'm watching, and in sales, as you know, we have what we call the elevator pitch. So you had 30 seconds to pitch yourself, and you have no way, you didn't know I was going to ask you this. So you have 30 seconds, which is kind of like the elevator pitch. And I am, what's one company that you would love to work for? Your dream company?
I don't know if it'd be fair to say, because obviously of the offers potentially that I have mentioned to you.
Okay, so let's say I am, you're in sales. I'm trying to think of
maybe a blue chip company, any blue chip company. So like a huge company that.
What's the biggest blue chip company? Let's go with the biggest.
We all know Sky or BT, either one of them.
So let's just say that you're up for that position at Sky.
Okay.
Right? And I'm the hiring manager. How would you sell me?
What, right now?
Sell me now.
No, I'll be like, hi, my name is Jay Green. I hope you're well. Listen, I really want to be a part of this position, because I am someone that's really going to push the boat out. I've got incredible experience with marketing, working for one of the biggest events at the NEC in Birmingham, selling floor space, selling tickets. And I've even sold wine up to £100,000. I've got a versatility of experience, including being a prison officer, where I've really shown people skills and been in really difficult situations with, and I can really transfer over that to difficult clients. I'm the person you should pick, and I'm the only person you should pick. And I'm here today, and I'm ready for an immediate start. Do you have any questions?
Absolutely.
That is a bit of a dummy.
No,
pitch,
you didn't know. You didn't know. So that's good, and that's pretty good for someone that did not anticipate me asking that question. It was so good that I'm just like moved to tears.
I can see, yeah.
Either that or my contacts are running.
The latter, yeah.
You mentioned prison officer in there. I heard it in all of that. How did that come about? What's that all about? What was the experience there?
Yeah, so I had to divert for a while because I wasn't getting the opportunity. So I wanted to keep pushing my career forward. So I developed some people skills in working in prison. That was really rewarding. I worked with some difficult people, and obviously the mental health aspect is, you're working with challenging people, turning their life around, a lot of things, trying to, find them work and build them their skills, and, just trying to be a good human being.
Yeah.
It was difficult because I'd have to go in every single day, and there'd always be conflict. I'd always have to restrain a guy. We'd be working with offenders between the ages of 15 to 21 years old. So, at the time, there was potentially only a few years younger than me. So a sense of authority would always be challenged. And it'd always be something silly. I'd always have to restrain them over they didn't get enough peas on their plate, or they didn't get enough time on the phone during their break time, or didn't have enough time in the shower. Whatever it is, it's something to constantly challenge and undermine a prison officer. And it just didn't work out. And what I really wanted, I was thinking throughout the year that I was there, was I wanted more. You're only limited to your salary. You work your hours and that's it. You can't do really much overtime.
Yeah.
With sales, you can just push yourself, with commission.
Yeah.
You can be the best version of yourself. And, I've seen in some roles you can progress as soon as 6 months. Within the prison service, the probation is 12 months. So you really have to put yourself out there every single day, whether you're getting your head kicked in on the floor, that counts as your probation. You have to be incredibly brave and resilient. And, some of the things you see there are questionable. So it wasn't for me. And, but I always took it as a positive and moved on.
No, I think that's impressive. You did that as well. Yeah, you're just putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
So how can people find you, Jay, on social media to hear more about your employment journey? I definitely want to hear more, and I just keep following to see, because I know that someone is going to hire you, and not just anyone, someone that you want, and someone that would be in your best interest, the type of person you are. So no, I know that just by watching. I strongly believe that, and if I say it, it's gonna happen.
You've got the magic aura. I believe you.
That's right. If I say, as long as you believe it, though, you gotta believe it. If you don't believe
I believe it.
You have to believe it, and you have to want it. And it will happen. I feel like if you put in the work, you put yourself out there, and you have to be in position to receive it. And I think mentally also, you have to be optimistic, and you have to believe it. I really believe in that as well, being in position, not just physically, but mentally, and believing that it's yours. And it is going to happen. And I can't wait for that. So where can they find you? And I'll put that as well in the description, but you can go ahead and tell us, what's your social media handles?
Cool. Yeah, please follow me, guys. Whoever's watching this, thank you for listening to this. You've been great. Ayana, as you know, is a fantastic presenter. I'll always continue to follow the inside job and what she does. And Declan is a sound guy. Hey. Follow me on LinkedIn, guys. My name is Jourdain Green, Jourdain. Green is in the colour. You can follow me on YouTube. My YouTube channel is Greenie's Corner. So obviously the colour green and YS Corner. So that is, in a nutshell, sitting on my two-seater sofa, discussing things, you know, like a talk show, Greenie's Corner. And obviously my surname's Green. There you go. My Facebook group, please follow it if you need help with your mental health. I endeavour to get you guys to get in touch with me 24/7 on my email address, which I'll also say after this. But the Facebook group is called Green Minds. There's a lot of green minds on there, but there's one with a green head with cogs in, white cogs. It's got about just under 300 followers. And obviously my email address, please feel free to stay in touch with me 24/7. I am here for you guys, whatever you need, you know, whether it's a Zoom call, you know, you need a uplift, whatever it is, I'm always here for anyone that obviously wants, you know, to be lifted up and, you know, wants a bit of me in a nutshell, because I'm here for anyone. So my best email is jayg2657@gmail.com.
And he forgot to mention, because he's been gracious, he said he's also a good cook. He has muscles and a battle star. Ladies, he will take you to Soho. You just gotta do a video first. You gotta do a video shoot, so he has to know that what he's getting is what he's seeing. Right? No catfishing. So that's the other thing. And yes, thank you so much again for
thank you.
Being on the show and talking about your experience, because a lot of us are going through that, where we're trying to find a job. Some people have been in their job, like I said, for decades. Other people not so long, but nonetheless, it's still the same. You don't have a job.
Yeah.
And just being creative, and also talking about mental health and how important that is, especially in a time like this. I think everyone has been affected. Like I said, job or no job, mentally. And just being a great person, a fun person to have on the show. So thank you so much. I definitely want you to come back once you get that job, which I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
And what can we expect from Jay in the future? You working on anything?
Yeah, new position. Maybe continue to evolve the Facebook group. I'd like to get more people involved. I'm constantly sharing people's businesses, so anyone that wants to join the group, I will share their business, you know, who they are and why you should be a part of them. So that will get them business for free.
Mm-hmm.
So
what kind of a page is that? Is it the Facebook, the business page? How does that work?
Yeah, it's a group. So
okay.
if you know, you just join the group and then you see my videos on a weekly basis that I'll make. I would like to set up a charity one day, maybe for the homeless. So the idea would be to maybe visit poor countries, or even just in the UK, go around with, like, you know, reduced food from supermarkets, or, you know, free food that you can pick up from these really like good sites like Olio, for example. You've got an Olio, guys. If you're not working, Olio, OLIO, it's a website where you can pick up free stuff, food and handmade products for free. You just go and pick up people that don't want stuff, and that's it. You know, just food that obviously is helping you to survive. But yeah, I could use that app, go and collect the food, and then give it to the homeless people. That's an idea. And also maybe I'd like to write a book on mental health, which I'd like to distribute around the world, maybe for free. That's it.
All right. You won't be single for long, because you're also trying to help the homeless, and you can cook, and you got battle scars. Women love that.
I hope so.
So that's the other thing that we'll be working on, the job and the woman.
Yeah, and I can box.
By the time you come back. Anyway, thank you so much again. And thank you guys for tuning in. This is our new season, season 3, our WIFM season, where it's all about you and what you want. And this is something that you asked for. You wanted to hear more about real people that's dealing with real situations, and Jay could not be any realer. So until next time, as we say in Jamaica, my hometown, walk good, live long, drink water, and prosper. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye.